station.
Hello and good evening. I'm Taslim. You are watching PoliTV News and the latest news today. Climate change made the storm that devastated the Libyan city of Derna, killing thousands of people. Up to 50% more rain had fallen as a result of human-caused greenhouse gas emission, climate scientists at the World Weather Attribution Group found. Years of conflicts in the region compounded the vulnerability of people to flooding. The WWA report says it turned the extreme weather into a full-scale humanitarian disaster. The scientists used computer simulation to assess how much more likely such a storm was now compared with before the 1.1C of warming climate change had already brought. But they cautioned lack of data, particularly in Libya, meant considerable uncertainties in their findings. And the study found climate change had made this up to 10 times more likely, bringing up to 40% more rain. Storms of this intensity are now reasonably common for this region and can be expected once every 10 years, it warns. But the weather event in northern Libya was much more exceptional, bringing a storm of an intensity such as would be expected to hit northern Libya once every 300 to 600 years. As a storm Daniel traveled slowly over the Mediterranean, it drew additional energy from sea temperatures 2 to 3 degrees over the September average. That extra warmth fueled stronger winds and meant that air could hold more moisture. When it hit the northern coast of Libya, it dumped an estimated 400 milliliters of rain on Derna in just 24 hours. The average of September in the city is just 1.5 milliliter, according to NASA's Earth Observatory. The huge impact shows how intense weather can combine with a vulnerable population with disastrous consequences, the scientist says. In Libya, the ousting of Libyan leader called Muammar Gaddafi in 2011 was followed by political instability and civil war. 2 dams in river above Derna were old and poorly maintained. Many houses has been built on the floodplain, and when the burst tens of millions of cubic meters of water poured into the city, sweeping away entire neighborhoods. But they are confident climate change have played a significant role because there are very strong evidence higher temperatures lead to heavier. To other studies have shown climate change increased intensity of weather systems such as Storm Daniel. Moving on into next news. The UK will find it harder to meet its climate targets after the Prime Minister's policy changes last month, the government advisors have warned. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said his review of green pledges was about putting the long-term interests of our country first. But the Climate Change Committee, CCC, says the PM is loosening of key climate policies has countered recent progress in other areas. The government said it was confident the UK would meet its commitments. The CCC also warned of knock-on effects of the government's reduced ambition on consumer confidence and investment and noted some of the Mr. Sunak's changes would actually increase bills for households. This assessment of the UK's progress toward its climate goals follows a series of policy changes announced by the Prime Minister at the end of September. This include pushing back on the sale of new petrol and diesel cars from 2030 to 2035 and changing the rules on the phase-out of gas and oil-fired boilers. The CCC said it has run the numbers and the biggest impact would come from a promise by Mr. Sunak that 1 in 5 homes would never be required to switch from a fossil fuel boilers. It means that many more UK homes would still be producing carbon dioxide or CO2 emission from their heating system by 2050, the deadline for the legally binding commitment for the UK to reach net zero. The government did increase the grant and offer for home installing heat pumps from £5,000 to £7,500. It says it will encourage people to make the switch away from the fuel boilers, meaning more people could benefit. But the CCC noted the overall budget did not increase, so fewer homes would be able to serve by the scheme. Delaying the ban on the sale of new petrols and diesel vehicles only can have a small impact on emission, according to the CCC. That is because the government confirmed that car companies will still obligated to meet strict quotas for selling electric cars. Under the zero-emission vehicle mandate, 80% of new cars sold in the UK by 2030 will have to have zero emission. And that's the news for today. Stay up to date with PolyTV breaking news and updates on our website at polytv.com.my. Have a pleasant evening.